Chinese and South African relations continue to grow, this time in the wine industry. The recent purchase of South African wine cellars and vineyards by a Chinese wine company has further strengthened these ties. It's also, as Channel News Asia's correspondent Hayley Slier reports, given South Africa's wine industry a considerable boost.
If you're a wine drinker, your taste buds have most certainly been tickled by a Pinotage or Chenin Blanc. Hailing from South Africa's Western Cape, these award-winning wines have been grown and fermented in some of the most spectacular vineyards in the world. And now China is lifting a glass through a partnership between Chinese company Perfect China and this wine estate.
I decided to take our distribution to China and more specific, well, Asia, and then more specific China, because of the financial crisis in Europe and also in USA. We started a joint venture in wine, and we formed the company Perfect Wines of South Africa, and that is the wine sales in the network of Perfect China.
But it's not easy getting into the Chinese wine industry. Hein Kugelenberg, though, managed to open the cork and now sends more than 3 million bottles of wine a year to Beijing, about 60% of South Africa's total wine export to China.
The industry, it's growing, the wine is growing, the culture is growing, the understanding of wine is really a big part of what's happening in the Chinese market. It's nothing new, but it's getting bigger and bigger.
It's the first time a Chinese multinational has invested in South Africa's vineyards. The undisclosed transaction includes a wine cellar, 25-hectare wine farm, vineyards and historic manor house. It's a deal that's sending ripples through the wine world and is expected to increase awareness of South African wines in the growing Chinese market.
I'm not saying that everybody needs to focus on China, but I think it's a big part of any producer to say, this is where I'm going to focus and stick with it, and certain markets, because it's a big country.
The search by South African winemakers for new Chinese partners is part of a growing closeness between the two countries. In the last decade, trade between the two countries has grown tenfold, making China not only South Africa's biggest trading partner, but also Africa's largest.
South Africa is a real gateway for Chinese investors into the rest of Africa. South Africa has fantastic infrastructure as well, allowing a lot of China trade and investment coming through.
In the last 2 years, China has set up projects across Africa amounting to over $100 billion. Chinese companies are prominent in many key fields, including petroleum, construction, mines and textiles. But unlike Western investors on the continent, many Chinese companies bring in their own workforce. Like Lily Lee, who has come to South Africa to work on this vineyard. She's responsible for translating all English wine labels into Mandarin.
We say if you can't drink, you don't have business in China. I think it's very important to have the right message delivered to different culture and different people and make a success.
As China says cheers to South Africa's wines, it smiles all round. This cooperation benefits both sides. It gives South Africa's wine industry a boost, while also giving Chinese wine consumers a few more options, leaving a sweet taste in everyone's mouth. Hayley Slier, Channel News Asia, Johannesburg.